Alright. I'm going to slap a stream marker here. And we're going to continue New Game Plus Endwalker Part 2. Last time we did a bunch of the opening parts of, well, kind of the mid part of Elpis. We journeyed around with Vana to try and find more about Medion from Hermes' colleagues. And as far as we can tell, he hasn't told anyone really about Medion or her sisters, the Matea. We did learn that he sends them off into the sky from a distant island. So, but with the little information we have, we're trying to figure out if Hermes is aware of the final days, if he was a part of causing it or a part of aiding its prevention. So, I'll continue. Also, we had a very heartfelt conversation with Vana, who everyone keeps telling her to return to the star, but she does not want that. She loves the planet and its people, and she wants to continue to learn, even though she's retired from her position as the previous Azem. She asked us if our journey has been meaningful and if it's been good. Before we could answer, we got interrupted by the person we were waiting for, who told us about the Matea. So now let us continue. Vana has a new course of investigation in mind. I should like to visit the site of which Hermes sent forth the Matea. If we are fortunate, we might find some hint of what drives this research of his. Galeen said she spotted them in the southeast, rising from an isle she could see from the edge. If we stand at the same vantage point, it should not prove too difficult to locate the isle in question. Let's take a look, shall we? Some screens around quickly. As always, keeping an eye on the raid channel just in case something does come up. Alright. Vantage point, but it's super cloudy. I think it's supposed to be that one over there with the tree on it. Turn the game up a little bit more, but hopefully it's not too loud. Now, if I were conducting some mystery research, where would I go? Ah, what about that one? Have you the means to fly? It's quite a distance away. Don't lie to her, you can fly, Ken. Inconvenient, but hardly an insurmountable problem. To me, Argos. It's the majestic dog. Or what was it? Luxurious dog? I think it was luxurious dog. My friend, would you mind creating a double to carry Kinliana here over to that island? Ellipses. Dog is silent. Stubborn creature. There's no place on this great star we have not together traveled, and he remains obstinate in the presence of strangers. Argos has rather exacting standards, I'm afraid. What? You've written him before? Ah, your before meaning my after. Not at all confusing, that. Interesting. It is certainly not unthinkable. But speaking of the here and now, the quick solution is for us to face off in a sparring match. Demonstrate to him that you are capable of holding your own against me in battle, and you should convince Argos that you are worthy of his back. And besides, I might even teach you a thing or two into the bargain. You seem doubtful, but useful lesson or not, it will certainly be a moment to remember, a memory of the distant past to cherish. What say you, traveler out of time? Choose your battlefield. I admire your confidence. Clear your mind and prepare your weapons. I will await you at the clearing over yonder. Yes, so this luxurious dog does not respect us, but he did on the moon. So obviously, whatever we do here will influence this precious boy. If you recall what the Watcher said, is that Argos is usually not wont to appreciate strangers, but he took to us rather quickly. Right, Argos? The entity is identical to the one you encountered in Mare Lamentorum, except this Argos is pointedly ignoring you. Shall we begin? Be warned, I'll not go easy on you. I love this duty. I love Vina, so, you know, that helps. Yeah, but the music, though. Ooh, good stuff. Don't want to fight her. I win. Forgot it was like a remix of this. Flow is such a good song. Alright. To battle.
Let neither side hold back. My blade sings! My blade sings! Impressive. I shall have to try something different.
That was her sword and shield phase. Now she pulls out dancer chakrams. Which I always loved this because that's kind of Kin's two weapons of choice as well.
No quarter. Have a taste. I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither will I.
And now she moves on to White Mage, which also is Kin's healer of choice. It was really all very, you know, not planned. I love it.
Prepare yourself. Very well. Let us move to the final trial.
Been home ganged.
Break your chains, shed your burdens, and show me your strength of will. You still stand. The people of your time are more resilient than I had dared hope. I have seen enough. Twas my intent to finish it, but clearly I underestimated you. One would think I never learn. I made the same mistake with Azem when we first sparred. Despite being less than half my age, her strength was astounding. As is yours. 'Tis plain you have weathered considerable hardship. Far more even than your tales would suggest. It seems we have both learned much on our journeys. Well now, I dare say he has warmed to you. A boon to be sure. He never forgets his favorites, and is ever eager to come to their aid.
Lustrous dog. That was it, not luxurious. What a lustrous dog. Argos will soon have us standing on the very spot where the Matea made their departure into the night sky. With luck, we will learn something of Hermes' intentions. My hope is that we find no connection, no festering wish for oblivion. Then we might have Hermes and his considerable expertise working for us, rather than against us. Let us move over to the edge before mounting, shall we? That will allow Argos to catch the currents rising up from below, and give us a smooth ride over to the isle. Ember, I thank you for your service, but you're ruining my immersion. Climb onto Argos's back and we can be off. You know, I honestly cannot remember the last time he carried anyone but me. Argos motions to his back with his muzzle. You've been given the go-ahead to hop on. Isn't this pleasant? Argos certainly seems to think so. Two ladies riding side saddle. Now, what was the name of that tree? Noe... something? Ah, Noe Tolferon. Quite a striking specimen, is it not? Brace yourself for the landing. I wouldn't want you tumbling off at the last moment.
Quite a small place, lacking even the most basic equipment. The present may yield no clues, but we may yet try perusing the past. Have you done this before?
Yeah, kinda?
So you cannot control the power freely. Worry not. I shall assist you. Come and stand before me. There are two ways to see the past. The first entails peering through the walls of the soul in the moment a subject is recalling a memory. The second requires no subject, and is instead a process of piecing together an event from ripples left in the ambient ether. As memories are etched upon the ether of the soul, so too are they etched upon the ether of the world. In this way can history be preserved. Such memories are given to fading, however, and can prove challenging to visit. But come, let us try. Close your eyes.
All units fully functional and proceeding on course towards their respective stars. Estimated time to completion of survey is 108 cycles. End of status report. Severing connection with shared consciousness. Did you hear that, Hermes? All is well.
Yes. Good tidings at long last. Every step of the way, I've been reminded how little we understand creation. How the universe defies imagination.
But soon we won't need to speculate. We'll know the answers. What others live for.
Indeed. And we'll owe it all to you and your sisters.
I wonder what answers we will get.
Whatever intelligent beings that exist out there are bound to be vastly different from us. Diverse in form and culture, possessed of unique ways of thinking. Their conception of life and its purpose will be no exception. Completely and utterly unlike ours. I have no idea. Yet whatever answers we receive, I will not dismiss them out of hand. No, I will think earnestly on them all. And I will share them with our people, that together we may contemplate our own existence. Perhaps then our star will become a better place. Not only for man, but for all life. Meteon, though I gave you wings to soar the heavens, I did not teach you how to walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet, learn to walk and run and so much more. And when you return, older and wiser, we will have a celebration to mark your homecoming and coming of age both.
Or will there be apples covered in syrup?
And how are you supposed to eat them? Rather than food, perhaps... a flower. Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
So, what is your opinion?
Hermes is a gentle soul. Yet...
I understand. He is a gentle soul, and well-intentioned. Yet it does not take ill intent to beget ill. We must consider the possibility that something may have gone awry. Perhaps it was oversight, or simply an accident. In light of this, I propose that we reveal your tale to Hermes himself. If he does not wish for the final days, as we believe, he may well join us in pursuing a solution. Then it is settled. Let us seek out our friend with all swiftness. 'Twould not do to let such a pure soul be blackened by tragedy.
There are any number of places where Hermes might be in Elpis. But we could do worse than to look in Ctesis Hyperborea, the largest facility. It stands in... oh, that's a word. Ethos Seleticos Boreas, the Northern Isle. I wonder, Kinliana, for an institution which claims to studiously research every species destined for release into the world, did you not question how they find room for them all on so few islands? The answer lies within Ctesis itself. I touched upon the practice before back at the archives, where a vast area is stitched together out of multiple conceptual spaces. The same holds true for the interior of this facility and its magically constructed environs. 'Tis there, within those sprawling habitats, that the chief overseer and most of Elpis's overseers conduct the bulk of their work. Come, the simplest route is via the Neus, north of Poison Oikos. This appears to be the teleporter Vana told you about. Motes of light yet hang in the air, suggesting the device was but recently activated. Ah, good. The Neus acknowledged you as my guest. You should now have the authority to use it as you wish. As for the way to Katisa's Hyperborea, we follow this path, then turn left at the crossroads. Pay no mind to the ominous dungeon entrance. The Amarot music. Here we are, the grandest research facility in Elpis. We should head inside and ask after Hermes' whereabouts. Hermes is at another facility, as we have just discovered. It's Crouchy Pants. Furthermore, we've confirmed that his studies into Dynamis, as well as his creation of Meteon, were entirely private pursuits. No one else we spoke with appeared to possess the chief's depth of knowledge on the subject, and neither did we hear any tales of stolen research. Which means that if Hermes himself harbors no desire to bring down an apocalypse, then he might be recruited to help prevent one. Or so saith the illustrious Emmett Selk. According to your story, the 14 divined the connection between the celestial currents and the final days, but were never able to pinpoint the root cause of the calamity. With our people's greatest minds, not to mention Hythlodaeus' sharp eyes, committed to the pursuit of a solution, such an outcome seems inconceivable. The only possible explanation is if the nature of the catalyst was so inexplicable that even we failed to perceive it. And what better fits that description than the invisible, intangible Dynamis? Which in turn leads us to our next question. How did Hermes, in his role as Fandaniel, not recognize the subject of his own research? We must assume that he either knew and was unable to help, or that he was otherwise prevented from identifying the cause in the first place. At this juncture, all we can do is speculate. To be clear, the Convocation does not tolerate acts of deception or malice. We are practiced at perceiving truth, and would have known had Fandaniel lied to us. Hermes has no conscious wish for the world to end. Of that, I am certain. It seems there is more to the tale after all. We conducted an investigation of our own, you see. How comforting. We seem to have reached the same exact conclusion. I see no reason to further delay. 'Tis time we brought Hermes into the fold, as it were. Thank you for your understanding. Save your thanks. I did not say I believed your ridiculous story. But as Emmett Selk, I have a duty to examine any potential threat to our existence, no matter how ludicrous or personally offensive I may find it. How lovely. Our merry duo has become a quartet. Past disagreements are no reason to reject collaboration in the here and now. I commend Emmett Selk for his practicality. Do not approach me, do not speak to me, and do not dare presume to treat me as a friend. I am merely carrying out my duty. Alright, Cranky Pants. I think the time for leisurely exploration has passed. If I might have a moment to adjust my vision. There he is. On the next aisle over. Meteon is with him. Hermes appears to be in the midst of an observational study, but I suggest we hurry over before they venture elsewhere. Head straight down the path. We can teleport to Misopsis Euros from the device at the bottom of the slope. Hello, hello, Grand. We are dressed this way because we are in the past. We are in the past before the final days hit. And this is how all ancients dressed. So we were given a robe so we look less conspicuous, even though we are a dragon person. Dragon people are not a common factor in the past, but they're like, hey, you look funny. Let's make you look at least as a little bit less funny. Hey, I would be happy to answer any questions because there's a lot going on here, and if you miss pieces, then like that's kind of it. This appears to be the teleporter to Misopus Euros. But yes, we are back in the past, currently traveling with, if you remember from Shadowbringers, the main enemy was Emmett Selk, the Ancient, who we defeated. This is him back before he was forced to live 1,000 years. Yes, the guys that try and end the world that you're thinking of are the Ascians, and the Ascians were the remaining ancients, the few people left who are unsundered, because the whole thing is where Hydaelyn, who is Vana here, Vana is the heart of Hydaelyn, the god of our star, sundered the world into 13 pieces, and the source. So everyone's soul was shattered into 13 pieces, except for a few ancients like Emmett Selk, who remained whole and were striving to put the world back together, as it were. So they thought they were being good guys, because they're being good for their own people. They wanted their own people back, but that would result in having to kill millions of sundered souls who are now their own people. Like, we are the sundered soul of Azem, as they've talked about time and time again. We are 8 times rejoined. We have 8 of our pieces back, but that doesn't mean we want all of our pieces back. That just means that we live our own life now. But in this area, in this research facility, they are without their masks, but ancients normally look like those shades we saw back in Amarot with the hoods up and the masks on, and you can't really tell their individuality. They're forced to live without their hoods here because this is a research facility with a lot of dangerous creatures, and it keeps them from being eaten. Misopsis Euros is interesting in that it is the only region in Elpis which lacks a researcher hub. This is largely due to the nature of its observation sites, within which they let loose creatures anticipated to be unruly and dangerous. I've also heard tell that this area is kept deliberately sparse in the event that, well, let us just say that no one should live near the Neus, which provides the access to a certain facility. What, you expect me to praise you in your progress? On the contrary, I'm simply surprised you made it this far. And again, even with your slowing her down, there's no denying that Vana is an accomplished researcher. Her wealth of wisdom and experience is unmatched, and her achievements in creation magics, in any field, frankly, are nothing short of extraordinary. Though the singular brilliance which sets her apart can make her motives somewhat impenetrable at times. As her student and successor puts it, she is a force of nature, at once so close, and at the same time so very distant. And we are that student and successor. Azem, she was the previous Azem. Yes, we have one more piece than everyone else because of what happened in Shadowbringers. So, the world is 7 times rejoined because the Ascians successfully caused 7 calamities, putting the shards back together with the source. They tried to do the same thing with the first, which was the whole realm that we were in the last expansion with Shadowbringers. They were trying to flood it with light, with the Sin Eaters and Vothri and all of them, to rejoin those souls back to the source. But we prevented that. But in the process, the Warrior of Light from that realm, Ardbert, it turns out was a piece of our soul, and he gave us his power to help us defeat Hades, because otherwise we would have been consumed by light. So we are 8 times rejoined, everyone else is 7. They are close by, within the Hungering Gardens. That would be the circular enclosure you see just up ahead. Well then, Kinliana, make yourself useful and bring Hermes out here to us. If I were to go, he would only assume I was here to press him on the Fandaniel matter. Of all of us present, you stand the best chance at convincing him to put aside his work for the moment. But the creations in there are not exactly... Well, then again, perhaps Kinliana can handle them. She did survive a bout with Vana, after all. Off you go to find Hermes, but do be prepared to come to blows with the garden's denizens. Yes, we are technically, our soul is denser and more, we have more strength than those who are only 7 times rejoined, because we are a little fraction more ourselves. Because the ancients had boundless ether and magic. They had creation magic. They had all this power that we split into pieces. So we're here trying to figure out what is causing our current world's demise, because the final days are back upon the source. And abominations are running rampant and killing people and all these terrible things. And Fandaniel, who was the villain at the start of the expansion, set free Zodiark, who we then killed. And because we killed Zodiark, the final days began again in earnest, so we're here to figure out why. And this is Hermes, who will one day become Fandaniel. But as far as we can tell, he doesn't want the end of the world, unlike the Fandaniel we knew. So it's all a very current mystery. The final days are, if you... at the end of Shadowbringers, we saw the world of the ancients basically came to an end. Some external force caused their creation magics to go crazy, and they started producing monsters that were killing people and all these terrible things, and everyone was dying, and the star was dying. And to prevent it, half of the population of the world sacrificed themselves, including Hythlodaeus, to summon the primal Zodiark, who was able to stabilize the world, but some people feared his power because people wanted to sacrifice even more to him to bring back the souls that were lost. And there was a faction of people, including Vana, who were like, we can't just keep sacrificing people to Zodiark to fix things. So they, in turn, summoned Hydaelyn, with Vana at the head, who became Hydaelyn's heart, to keep Zodiark in check. So Hydaelyn became a new primal to bind Zodiark in the moon, and sundered his power into the 13 shards to prevent more sacrifices from having to happen in his name. All the while, Zodiark couldn't have been killed because he was the one holding back the end of the world. Zodiark's presence was keeping the final days at bay. So Fandaniel, after we defeated all the Purasians, came along, and he was just another sundered soul, but had his memories. And he tricked us into killing Zodiark, which destabilized the world once again. And since we don't have creation magic, instead, extreme despair is causing people to turn into abominations that have no ether. Once you turn into this abomination, you can't turn back. You turn into a horrible creature created of this energy we've learned is called dynamis, and just kill people. So true despair is changing people into monsters, and the star is once again dying. So Vana and Hydaelyn had an escape plan with the moon. So currently, there's one faction of people who are trying to get people to safety on the moon to travel to another star, but because we are the good guys, we don't believe escape is the answer. So we're trying to figure out a way to save our star instead of having to leave it. Kinliana, what are you doing here? I thought you were keeping Hythlodaeus and MXL company. An important matter, and unrelated to my decision on Fandaniel, you say? Then yes, I will come, as soon as my work here is finished. It will not be long, I promise, but you should really wait outside the garden with the others. This is no place for idle exploration. Yeah, basically, Zodiark, as far as we knew, because Hydaelyn has always been speaking in mysteries, because Hydaelyn has been the god of light. Everyone, respects and loves Hydaelyn. As far as everyone understood, Zodiark was the god of darkness, and obviously darkness is evil. But what we learned from Shadowbringers is that that's not always the case. There were the extreme abundance of light on the first was turning people into monsters, and it turns out that it's all about balance. It's not about one is good and one is evil, it's about coexistence. So for the longest time, everyone was like, haha, Zodiark, root of all evil. But then we get there, and he took over the body of Zodiark and forced us to weaken it so that he could kill it and kickstart the end of the world, because he just wanted to kill himself and everyone in a blaze of glory. Yeah. So literally, it's like we beat him, and he's like, "Oh, you defeated me, and you played right into my hands," and he just kills Zodiark right then and there. he was a little bit crazy. You spoke with Hermes then, and were briefly entangled with the denizens of the Hungering Gardens as well, I see, or should I say smell. I cannot speak for certain Convocation members, but I for one am impressed with your fortitude. Well done indeed. Now that you've convinced Hermes to confer with us, let us pray that things will soon take a turn for the better. For as fascinating as it would be to meet the Emet-Selch who would recreate Emerald in the depths of the ocean, I think it best for all concerned if such tragic events never came to pass. Be it in our future or your past, assuming yours is not truly written in stone, naive hope that is. Yes, because the one who sent us to the past pointed out to us, no matter what we do, it won't change our time. Like, we are a culmination of the final days, so if we stop it here, somehow, all it would do is create a different timeline. Where we have to go back, it will always have happened, but we're still trying to find a way to save our timeline as it is. Hermes said he would not be long, yes. Then we shall wait here until he emerges. Should be voiced. Should be. Things are about to kick off. We're approaching the end section of Elpis and our journey into the
My
past.
apologies for keeping you waiting. I understand there is a matter you wish to discuss.
Aye. A matter of the utmost gravity, if one can suspend disbelief. Go on then. Tell him what you told us, who you are, and why you came.
Ayo, I come from the future. Y'all are dead by now.
Final days.
The phenomena observed during these star-encompassing calamities is likely the product of a dynamis reaction. And none is more versed in the applications of this energy than you, Hermes. I must stress that we do not believe you would desire such destruction. We come not to lodge accusations, but to beg your wisdom. And so, distressing though the exercise may be, I ask that you share with us your opinion on the matter, on the assumption that our visitor's tale is true.
Even you, Vana. As you say, the phenomena observed in the two calamities may both be attributed to dynamis. Of note is the difference in its effect. In the first final days, it warped creation magics. In the second, it warped the people themselves. The key variable, I suspect, is the etheric density of the men of each age. As you know, ether, in essence, negates dynamis. Harboring high concentrations of ether, we ancients cannot readily manipulate dynamis, nor be manipulated by it. Therefore, rather than ourselves, the calamity affected our magics. In contrast, having been sundered, the people of the future are composed of but a fraction of our ether. Thus are they susceptible to the influence of dynamis and its transformative potential. but that would explain only the mechanism, not the cause. Though perhaps...
What is it? Even should it be a hypothesis, we would hear it.
Dynamis is an energy put in motion by feelings. Feelings for which there must first exist a source. A source to which the victims must be attuned. One that harbors the selfsame negative emotions. Elsewise it could not be the agent of such extreme change.
So it wasn't the stagnation of the celestial currents. Someone, or something, is instigating the star's demise.
So, we've a villain on our hands after all. Any idea who or what it could be?
The celestial currents comprise the outermost layer of the star's ether, encasing it like a protective sphere. According to your tale, it was where the currents were weakest that the phenomena first manifested. If the inciting factor came from without Aetheris, then its effects would first be seen in those locations.
Greetings. Can you hear me? Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm. I wish only to hear your words, share your feelings, know your thoughts. May we please be friends?
Meteion. What is it?
Executing scheduled task, suspending individual self and connecting to shared consciousness. Connection established. Commencing status report.
It hurts, it hurts! It hurts!
So hot, so cold, so sad. I don't understand. Make it stop. Please, make it stop.
Steady, Meteion. Steady.
So scared, so lonely. The pain, it's too much. Why? Why? Why do we? They hurt. Hurt. Hate. This is wrong. All wrong.
She's gone? But how?
She has altered her etheric density in order to blend in with her surroundings, an ability for avoiding confrontation.
Most effective. Frustratingly so. I can't see her either. Not even a trace.
Stay away. Please. This is wrong. My mistake. So please.
Are you all right? In your mind? No. We only heard her speak the instant before she vanished.
Of course. When communicating without words, Meteion also employs Dynamis. That will explain why you were able to hear her, when we could not.
Then you are our best chance of finding her. Follow her voice and try to track her down. Hindered though we may be, let us split up and search as well.
Shit's going down. Yes, so Meteon is one of many creatures created by Hermes, who has the power to manipulate Dynamis, unlike the people of Atheris. He sent her sisters off into the universe to different stars to find out the reason that other people, other planets, other civilizations, what gives their life meaning. And Meteon is able to communicate with her sisters via a link of sorts, and it sounds like she's getting an answer that is not the one that she expected. You calm your mind, your senses questing for any hint of Meteon's presence. You fail to hear her voice. She must be elsewhere. Must be elsewhere. I don't remember where to go. Unfortunately, this is like one of the things. It's like, here's a bunch of circles. Find the right one. I don't know what the right one is. It's up. Find the thing in the circle is my favorite game. It seeps into my mind. Our voices reporting. No, no! Hermes mustn't hear them. I have to run. To hide! Meteon's anguished voice grows distant as the source seems to flee down the slope. I'm sure this isn't the right one. Who knows? You strain to catch even the faintest whisper, but fail to hear Meteon's voice. Must be elsewhere. So, yeah, it's being somewhere around one of these pillars. Yeah, so Fandaniel was the one, Grand, who was working with Xenos, who's our longtime enemy, who wants to relive a weird moment of transcendence with us. No, we won't give him the time of day. Fucking Xenos. Greetings and salutations. Commencing report. Oh, no, we can't tell him that. We must run. Run far away. Please, don't follow me. Gideon's anguished voice fades as you sense her climbing to the top of the ridge. Yes, she is a creature of Dynamis, which we have a feeling has a strong part in the final days, and we're finally learning what exactly that part she might have is. Because we already knew that Hermes was some part of it because of his actions as Fandaniel, even though it was a sundered Fandaniel. We're trying to figure out why, if he helped stop the final days, like, it doesn't add up that he did try and help stop the final days, and yet it's very clear he knows something about Dynamis and potentially could be involved in the cause of it. So, it's all a big puzzle. How? How did it come to this? Is this the reason we traveled to the stars? Why we sought out other life forms? Is this it? Is this the answer? No, it cannot be. It cannot be! Medion's anguished voice drifts away to the south. Yes, because Hermes is one of the few people who respects all life, versus the ancients are kind of weird. Their belief is that you live out your life, you contribute to society, and then when you're done, you just return to the star. And what that means is you just die. You just choose to be dead once you've finished your task. And, like, that's why he doesn't want to be Fandaniel, because he's like, if I become Fandaniel, that's just signing my predecessor's warrant to just die. And he doesn't want that. Dude, we got a world to save. We can't listen to the tiny bird girl telling us to stay away. Our world is on fire. The sky is burning. People are turning into horrible monsters. I think she's over... Nope, okay. I know she's over near the water, but it must be this one. There we go. Compiling report for dissemination to Hermes and all peoples of Aetheris. Processing expedition data. Preparing profiles on intelligent civilizations. Formulating answers to the question. Finalizing report. No, Kinliana, you mustn't listen! It's wrong. It's all wrong. Medion's anguished voice flees towards the lake. Any signs of Medion? Panicked and confused, which will make it all the more difficult to predict her movements. Hermes, what do you make of this situation? The Matea are linked to a single mind, a shared consciousness which connects them across any distance. I suspect something has happened which disrupted its usual harmony. How might we access this shared consciousness of theirs? Much as you would approach any sentient being, directly. In the Matea's case, that means speaking to any incarnation within physical reach. So unless we can track down the Medion we just lost, we have no means to communicate with them. No way of knowing what befell her sisters. No way to provide directions or guidance. Then we'd best set our musings aside and concentrate on how we might find her. Oh, my dear Medion, what did you witness out there that frightened you so? Why do you seek to keep it from us? How terrible could it possibly be? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Medion renders herself invisible by matching her etheric density to that of her surroundings, does she not? If so, could we not then disrupt her concealment with a surfeit of ether, much how Emmett Selk solidified your presence when we first met you? Don't be absurd. I can hardly channel ether to a recipient whose whereabouts are hidden from me. Which is why we must all work together. Kinliana will continue to search in the same manner as before, but this time with you in tow. Once she ascertains Medion's likely location, you proceed to reveal our wayward familiar with a swift ethereal downpour. Very clever, and thankfully she has made herself easier to capture by fleeing toward Leth. Assuming she is made visible, it should prove no great feat to herd her into a corner. Then we have our plan. Kinliana and Emmett Selk will be our tracker and trapper respectively, while we others predict and obstruct Medion's avenues of escape. Emmett Selk and I will keep an eye on each other's ether to help coordinate our efforts. Let us be about it. Well, it seems we are partners for the time being. Let us return to where we last saw Medion and pick up the trail from there. I will keep myself in a state of preparedness, ready to rain down ether at a moment's notice, meaning it falls to you to keep the way clear. Get to go on a walk with the boy. Just me and the guy who hates my guts, Emmett Silk. Hey, future you and I have an understanding, Emmett Silk. I may have killed you, but you respected me for it, you know? You calm your mind, you sense your senses questing for any hint of Medion's presence. But you fail to hear her voice. She must be elsewhere. Nothing this way? We must try another route then.
Why can't I fly? Are my functions being restricted? Hide. Yes, I'll just have to hide then, where no one can find me.
Medion's anguished voice heads towards the water's edge. She went into the lake, as if this wasn't tiresome enough. Well, at least that open expanse should make her easier to find. We won't lose her this time. Discuss the water's edge. We should be able to reach the bottom of this drop by climbing down the rocks at the water's edge. Do not even think of dragging me over the falls. Final days or no, if I end up drenched from head to toe, I swear I will feed you to a remora. What's that? Take you down the falls? Whee! Sploosh. Ugh, the indignation to drag my robe through the water. Ithlodeus better not breathe a word of this to Azem. Still, mild humiliation will be the least of our concerns if we fail to get our hands on Medion.
Not here. I'm not here. Please.
By that rock, is she? Very well. The snap.
What? Why can't I hide?
There's no need to run, Medion.
Kiliana, what are you saying? Everything is so faint. I'm sorry, I'm not strong enough. Stay away, I'm begging you. Don't make me say it, it'll break his poor fragile heart.
Now we have a chance. Once the others are in position, the two of us can herd her into their midst. discuss the naos. This naos not in use. It seems to have been left to the mercy of the elements. Either way, it bears no trace of Medion's essence. We move on. There, I see her. Pretty sure that's the teleporter to the raid area. Yeah. Anything in the circle?
Aha! Give chase. We shall herd her into the shelter.
Please, Mission. We must speak.
I'm sorry, Hermes. I'm so sorry. If someone can hear these words, then please... please protect them. Protect them all. Individual self-suspended. Connection with shared consciousness stable. Our survey is complete. We shall now report our findings. All units safely arrived at their respective destinations. Seeking answers to Hermes' question, we attempted to make contact with the intelligent denizens of each star. Results are as follows, in order of numerical code. Enna. Traces of civilization found. Structures believed to have served as domiciles. No extant life forms detected. Dio. Ruined remnants of buildings scattered across star. surface of which is encased in ice. Presence of life could not be verified. Tria. Evidence of large population centers, akin to cities, recovered. No extant life forms found, only their lingering essence. Tessera. Edifices surmised to be abandoned residences found. No extant life forms detected. Deadly plague or extreme environmental degradation likely to have led to mass extinction.
They are all dead.
Octo. Star found in state of violent conflict. Contact successfully made with inhabitants, but deployment of weapons of mass destruction resulted in total annihilation of local population shortly thereafter. Inea. Star is a barren desert. No identifiable flora found. Bones of living beings resembling men discovered beneath sands, but determination regarding their intelligence inconclusive.
Remind me, Hermes, what exactly was the question you entrusted to Meteion?
I tasked her with asking what others live for, what gives their lives meaning.
Did you consider what may happen if the premise of the question is flawed? To be able to answer it, one must be living and desire to continue doing so. But if Meteion finds no living beings in the course of her journey, or none who desire to live, what then? What answers would she derive from their silence?
Meteion, enough! Suspend your mission and return hither at once.
Decapente. Local civilization once flourished under auspices of higher power. Said power later laid waste to civilization in fit of rage. Upon revealing this to me, entity elected to self-terminate in lieu of providing answer to question. No other intelligent life forms found.
Turning a deaf ear, are we? We are taking Meteion back to Amarot. As I understand, we will need her if we are to bring back all of her sisters.
Yes. Meteion. It isn't right, is it? It isn't right to turn away from the answer. Even if the answer is pain. Even if we aberrations must scream ourselves hoarse to be heard. Aye. Whatever answers we find, I will not dismiss them out of hand. These words I said to you, and I will hold myself to them.
What is the meaning of this?
You cannot take Meteon. Not until she has finished her report. All else must wait.
You fool!
There we go. I just didn't want to talk during the voice cutscene. Yeah, Soupy, if you're still here, this is my full replay of the story through New Game Plus mode. So, this is Endwalker, very far down the line. So, you know, I know you're still pretty early in the story. So, but if you do not want to see it, then yes, raid is at 7 o'clock, which will be non-spoilerific. But yeah, I want to write some stories, so I've been highlighting a full playthrough of this, so I would have footage with my character in it. Just because it's really hard to watch the story with other people's characters. But yeah, Hermes has run off with Meteon, because he would hear her answer, even though it will potentially cost thousands of lives in the process. Why, Hermes? Why could you not leave well enough alone? Will these answers assuage the pain you feel when a creation is returned to ether? Had you never cast your accursed question to the distant stars, you may have one day learned to be at peace upon this one. Hermes is headed to Catesis. Considering the expansive dimensions of the place, even we may have a difficult time locating his ether. All I can say is that he entered from the rooftop and likely arrived at the uppermost point in the facility. So, do we pursue him? Of course we pursue him. No matter what Hermes may be thinking, Meteon is a potential threat that needs to be brought under our control. The Convocation's duty to safeguard this star takes precedence over any personal stake in the matter. Bana, Kinliana? It is clear we stand on a precipice, but we have yet to determine beyond a shadow of a doubt that Meteon is the hand which tips us over the edge. Nevertheless, if we are to learn the truth of the final days, we must give chase. And even if neither Hermes nor Meteon is ultimately responsible, we cannot leave them to suffer this torment alone. Agreed on all counts. To Catesis Hyperborea we go. Alright, so we have about an hour until raid. I'm just trying to factor in, it may come as shocking, but we are rapidly approaching a dungeon. So I think I should have time to do the dungeon and the cutscenes that follow. It's gonna suck. We're gonna miss out on one of the most badass cutscenes in Final Fantasy history. So there's a 99.9% chance that I will continue after raid to get through all of Elpis and probably do a little bit of the next section of the story as well. Because yeah, the cutscene as we're leaving Elpis, it's gonna. I'm ready to cry just watching it again. But I will be right back. I'm gonna run to the restroom. Okay, I'm back. Back in we go. Alright. What have we here? Excuse me, has something happened inside Catesis? Mistress Vanna, I'm so glad you're here. No one knows what prompted it, but the alarm was sounded and Catesis put into a state of alert. Procedure dictate that we evacuate immediately, and we have yet to investigate further. This is Hermes is doing, obviously. And what does this state of alert entail exactly? A field of dampening magic is draped over the entire facility, usually in response to escaped entities and the like. Catesis scholars and observers are unaffected, but everything and everyone else is weakened to a fraction of their usual capabilities. And consider us forewarned. We do, however, have urgent business with Chief Hermes, and must enter the premise regardless. That said, if Hermes is willing to enact such measures, I wonder what other obstacles he's seen fit to drop in our path. With that enfeebling spell in place, we're not like to be at our fighting best. And I was hardly an effective combatant to begin with. I've little to offer beyond my ethereal vision. Then you will put that talent of yours to good use. You were fairly skilled at spotting weaknesses, if I recall. Fairly skilled. Now you've gone and raised everyone's expectations. You all need only make the most of your strengths, and I will fill in the gaps as required. I was once Asm, after all. 'Twas my job to rise to the occasion, be that as defender, aggressor, or healer. I feel better about my lack of prowess already. And you, Emetselk, can impress us with your arcane majesty. You lob potent spells as easily as breathing, but can also channel that power in a protective manner if you so choose, yes? Well, yes, should the situation call for it. Excellent. That should cover us on all fronts. So Emetselk can be Black Mage or Dark Knight. Vanna can be Paladin, Dancer, or White Mage. Your tale led us here, Kinliana, so it is only right that you lead us now. No matter what lies ahead, we will win through to Hermes and Medion. And then we will face the future together. Dungeon. Yeah, so this takes about 45 minutes. That'll get us at about 650. Let me just have to hope the cutscenes play out. They're long cutscenes, but we'll see what happens. Alright, but this was unheard of. For the first time, we were allowed to trust a dungeon with non-Scion party members. And that's just pretty fucking cool. That's just pretty fucking dope. We have our Bard, Hythlodaeus, our Black Mage, Emetselk, and our White Mage, Vanna. No! Fuck. I have to back out. I forgot to turn on the intro cutscene. Close your eyes. Look at the floor. I've been doing this dungeon a lot lately because I'm leveling some people up, some classes up. Not background housing. There we go. Now for realsies in we go. Into the research facility, Catesis Hyperborea. I like the music here. I'm gonna eat food. It's really just anything I can do to make this go as fast as possible. It's not the highest tier food I have, but...
Please, turn back, else I might be forced.
Seems he's determined to protect Medion. Aye, a right bother this is going to be. You ever wondered what your creation is, whether your creation is a beneficial existence to the star? Want to know more? For Catesis Hyperborea, our mission is to determine the answer. From temperate plains to tropical jungles, from smoldering volcanoes to frozen fields, we put creations to the proof in a wide range of meticulously recreated environments. Will your creation be able to survive in a wider world, or will it threaten the survival of other species? The answers to such questions and more, our highly trained staff will uncover. I'm gonna try a big pull. This is a terrible idea. Trusts cannot do big pulls, but we're gonna try. We're gonna give it a good old college go. I'm gonna die. The problem is that the trusts fall behind terribly. Ah, oh, crap. Probably not level 90. Oh well. Alright, Vanal is a good healer. I'm not dead. That's more than can be said for most of the trust healers in the game. I won't be able to do these pulls unless all of my cooldowns are up though. Okay, we'll do some small ones. Following this up. Another minute till Sentinel's back off cooldown. So we'll do 2 single packs.
My way. Be gone. Out of my way. Be gone.
Have a taste. Have at you.
I see you.
Where could he have gone? Maybe follow the footprints. Shame about the telltale footprints. Ah, buttons are difficult. Well,
I see you opening.
let's just hide again. Mother trucker. Well. I must say, this is a promising concept. Oh, Hythlodaeus. I wonder whose it is.
I'm not entirely useless.
Oh, it's going to hide again.
Tide is the ether.
Hythlodaeus with the crossbow, huh? I don't have all my defensive cooldowns. Yeah, I'm missing Rampart. I'll go one pack. Alright, we're cooldowned up. So I don't think I can go farther. Maybe I can. No, I can't. Okay, this room's long. That's annoying. Guess I'll pull the next 2 packs. Good luck, friends, keeping up with us.
I'm not entirely useless. I see you, enemy.
Prepare yourself! Stand firm. Have a taste. Have a taste.
I'm not entirely useless. I'm not entirely useless.
Alright, we should finish this dungeon with plenty of time for the cutscenes. I was worried it was going to take like a half an hour, but or 45 minutes, but I think this one will probably only take about half an hour. Trusts can sometimes be slow. So why don't you play with real people? You can't make the NPCs fast, then you won't want to play with real people. Jokes on you, Squeenix, I'll never want to play with real people. I'm a loner.
Have a taste.
I'm not entirely useless.
Have at you.
I must hear their answers before they're expunged from existence.
So, Hermes is worried that should Medion's answers be shared with his people will reject them and eliminate them from all reality, as if they never existed in the first place. Much as they do with a lot of things. Even Vana has, as I was talking about earlier, her own experiences with the whole way that this world thinks. Everyone expects her to return to the star because she finished her duty as Azim, but doesn't want to just go off and die. She wants to experience the world, help its people. The people of the planet are her purpose and her love.
Out of my way.
Have at you.
I see you, Opening.
Flying life forms, an introduction. The successful creation of migratory birds, which travel between continents with the seasons, came as a breath of fresh air to the long stagnant realm of flying life forms. In the end, it was a relatively simple thing to grant creatures the ability to navigate by celestial bodies, but this method lacked the precision needed to guide them to the same location each time, as would be vital to their survival. The breakthrough came in the form of magnetic fields, the use of which was discovered by the incumbent Fandaniel during his tenure as chief overseer of Elpis. A truly inspired idea that has brought lasting benefits to the star. So that's the prior Fandaniel that Hermes is going to take over for. King of Hermes.
So, it comes to this. I have no wish to fight, but this time, I cannot yield. Though the world may think me a mad, desperate fool, I will hold fast to my conviction.
After this boss, the story do be gonna pop off a little, as it becomes revealed why things happen the way they do.
I will have the time and tranquility I require. Dust and gale, gather to me! Ancient brand, unleash your power! Dancing winds, pierce my foe! Stars on high, fall as rain! Ether! Surge is one! My way. Dancing winds, pierce my foe!
I'm not entirely useless.
Stars on high! By my rain! I shall decide all! Even when transformed, but I am not finished yet.
I'm not entirely useless.
Sorry, Hermes, but taking the bird. Or are we? Can I go over to her? Oh, I can. I'm sorry, Remedion. Shit's about to pop off a little bit, a lot bit. Things are about to go sideways. That's how you know it's going to be good. But this cutscene will reveal much of why things happened the way they did.
Hermes. In the name of the Convocation, I hereby take Meteion into custody. And setting aside the matter of your nomination, you will come with us too. We require your knowledge to assess and resolve the situation.
Meteion, I am so sorry. Would that I could have listened to your report in full. Reflected upon its meaning and conveyed it to others, that they might reconsider their chosen course. But I have failed, and that wish will never be realized. However, ere our fates become the province of others, I bid you tell me just one thing. Was there happiness in those distant stars? Was there a reason for living?
We conducted our search as per your instructions. We scoured historical records, communed with the spirits of the deceased, heard the final testaments of the dying, welcomed their shadowed hearts into our own. One race had striven to create a world bereft of animosity. They renounced relationships to avoid interpersonal strife, and in so doing brought about societal collapse. One race had renounced war and devoted itself to the enrichment of its people. They were conquered. Though they destroyed the enemy in reprisal, they could not regain their former glory. One race had concluded that finite time was the root of all woes. Aspiring to shatter its shackles, they went in search of infinity. They discovered nothing is infinite, and that neither time or death can be cheated. Disillusioned, they gave up on the future and themselves. One race had discarded all things that gave rise to sorrow, hoping to have only joy. They found joy lost its savor in the absence of sorrow, and lost their will to live. Though worlds apart, these peoples shared a belief. The belief that they had tried their best. That they had tried to fulfill their potential with every step and success. In the course of which, they learned the truth. That they would never be free of fear and sorrow, anger and despair, of loneliness, so long as they yet lived. Even now their souls cry out for oblivion. And to this song of anguish, I lend my voice. We lend
our voice! Oh, beloved mankind, shimmering jewels of beautiful Atheris, rejoice, for we will free you from the cruel yoke of existence. There is no need to struggle in vain, for in nihility awaits salvation. You will know peace and serenity, and it will be beautiful.
We will make our nest at the edge of the universe. And there, in the dark of dead worlds, hoard sorrow and suffering. There we will sing, our chorus ever louder and ever clearer, that our song may reach even this ether-shrouded star. Such is the answer we have found in the stars. Such is the gift we now offer to Atheris.
Who were you to decide our fate? To decree we live or die? Have you lost your mind? You heard what she said. She means to destroy us all, yet you'd still take her side?
In the name of the star, we have discarded those creations that we deemed flawed. If we ourselves are flawed, does not stand to reason that we too should be discarded.
That is sophistry, and you know it!
Perhaps it is. Perhaps I am wrong. But who is to say that you are right? Let us settle this with a determination. In my authority as Chief Overseer of Elpis, I will make a judgment on man's fitness to exist. If he can learn to value all life and retain his will to live, even should his end be justified, he will surely find a way to avert his demise. If not, he will perish from the start. As with all determinations, provisions must be made to ensure fairness. Kairos! Awaken!
Memory reconfiguration system Kairos activated. Awaiting instruction.
Command. Universal memory alteration. Target area. Catesis Hyperborea. Starting point. Arrival of Emmet Selk of the Convocation at Propylion. Endpoint. The present. Erase the memories of all events and replace with a vague recollection of the following. I was here, preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to Emmet Selk and Hithodeus. Meteion's shared consciousness became unstable. She and her sisters could not sustain their existence, and all dissipated with a burst. The resultant shockwave accidentally triggered Kairos, which erased several days of memories from all present. Execute.
Command acknowledged. Initializing. 3 processes remaining to execution.
Bravo. I dare say one would be hard-pressed to make it fairer. Everything that you told us, everything that has happened, the fact we've even met, it will all be gone.
Go, Meteion. To the edge of the universe, where none can reach you.
Hermes, won't you come with me? If you were to shed your flesh, I should be able to carry you.
I will remain. As a man, I will oppose the oblivion you bring.
Silly fool. Had you said yes, I would have granted you the gentlest end.
This ends here!
Fly, Meteion!
That is far enough, Hermes!
Argos, to me!
First process complete. 2 remaining to execution of memory reconfiguration.
As if we needed more pressure. No matter what, you cannot forget what happened today. For it is the key to saving your future. Your world. This fight is our fight. What comes after, our problem to contend with. Not yours. No. Your own struggle awaits. And no one else can take your place. You must flee this place with your memories intact. And I will see that you do. Now then, where is it? There you are, my little confluence.
Almost! Oh! Very well then. You may elude us this day, but not forever.
Meteion's gotten away.
Second process complete. 1 remaining to execution.
Ugh. No time for brooding. Listen well. Beyond lies a spatial confluence that connects the interior sections of this building. I will destroy the confluence and force open a way outside. When I do, you must jump through.
I cannot tell you how sorry I am. But neither can I let you escape!
Too brave by half. Exemplary work, as always, Emmett Selk.
What? But how? I thought the confluence was... over...
Over there? Yes. We were rather hoping you would.
It was never anywhere but where it is now. The instant those two began making their way towards nothing, 'twas clear the plan was a diversion.
I'm quite incapable of destroying a confluence, I must confess.
A gambit brazen beyond words. Though we've grown accustomed to reckless improvision due to the antics of an incorrigible associate. Though, in the case of certain present company, incorrigible is an understatement. Honestly, I'm beginning to suspect it's a requirement for every Azen. There's no time! Quickly! Even now, I do not believe your tale. I would not suffer us to walk such a wretched path. Still, if it must be said, do not squander it. The legacy I leave you.
Final process complete. Executing universal memory alteration.
Go, Argos! I'm fine. Just a little tired. Can it be true? Are we the only ones left who see beauty in the world? In life? Are the stars above no more than husks of fallen civilizations? And yet, I feel her. Though she is unimaginably distant, I feel Meteion's presence, and the place where to we must go. Ere she made good her escape, I placed an enchantment upon her, one which allows us to follow her trail. She has already left the outermost bounds of Aetheris, and continues on her way. Given the vastness of the universe, it will still be no easy feat to track her down. But thanks to Emmett Selk and his Ladeus, all is not lost. We remember. So long as we remember, our fates remain ours to shape.
What became of the others, I wonder?
I'd like to know too. Let us ascertain the situation at Cutisis Hyperborea, where they should still be. Given the likely state of their memories, however, it would be imprudent for us to approach them directly. In which case... I am sorry, my friend. I've asked much of you this day. But may I trouble you one last time? Argos will investigate in our stead. We will share in his consciousness and see and hear as if we were with him. Now, close your eyes and open your mind.
Thank goodness you are unharmed.
Unharmed? There is a gaping hole in my memories. I can scarcely remember arriving here in Elpis.
Forgive me. I was preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to our guests. But Meteion, her shared consciousness became unstable. And she...
So, that's what prompted the state of alert. And when you went to investigate, you were caught in Kairos's accidental operation.
So it would seem. It's all a blur to me.
Such an unfortunate accident. Oh, and what of Vinar and your other companion? You went inside together, as I recall.
We did?
If Vinar was with us, I have no recollection of it. But that there is her familiar, is it not? The fellow seems happy enough, so I think it's safe to assume his mistress is well. I haven't the slightest notion who this other companion might be, however.
Ah, well, that individual struck me as a bit different, for want of a better word. Perhaps it wasn't actually a person, but some manner of creation.
Curious. I must ask Vinar about it when next we meet.
Yes, you do that. Now, if we may tend to Hermes, whatever this Meteion did, it seems he bore the brunt of it. Once you are fit to travel, you will return with us to Amarot. We need to make certain there are no other ill effects. Also, I am here on business of the 14. We've already had the conversation, like as not, but since your toy wiped my memory, we'll have to have it again.
Yes, of course. As you see fit.
This Kairos, it manipulates memories through the emission of etheric waves, correct? There is a theory which holds that memories scoured by blasts of ether are restored when the soul is cleansed in the underworld. If true, then perhaps when our time comes to return to the star, we shall remember these few days we have lost.
I doubt aught of interest occurred. Look forward to the revelation if you like, but I should prefer to reminisce on more meaningful moments.
Let us rest, if only for a while. After all, you and I... Oh, we still have a long, long way to go.
So that was a lot. And that is, unfortunately, I think where we're going to leave it. Because if we dive further in, I think the cutscenes... Raid is going to start about 10 minutes late, but I think the cutscenes will be too long. Because, yeah, this is the conclusion of the Elpis saga. And an explanation on why things unfolded the way they did. If we had met him at Selk in the past, why is it that he didn't remember us in the entirety of Shadowbringers as he opposed us? Well, it's because his memory had been wiped, and as had Hythlodaeus's as well. And that's why Hermes tried to stop Meteon, because he wiped his own memory, to fight alongside humanity to determine if we are worthy of life. Yes. Yeah, no, they did bring it up earlier, that it's because this is where creation are deemed whether or not they are worthy of existence. Sometimes they would have to wipe the memory of existing creations in order to relocate them. Since it was more convenient than creating new specimens out of new ether. But, yeah, we're not going to go to her conclusion just yet. But yeah, so Meteon has gone to the edge of the universe to sing the Song of Oblivion, and basically waits for the day where the currents of Aetheris thin upon the death of Zodiark. She, well, first she goes to Edge of Creation, causes the first final days, but then Zodiark is created to prevent them, but yeah, she waits at the edge of the universe for all of creation to cease. Also marker there so that I know where to end this highlight, but we will continue this line of story after raid tonight, around 9 o'clock Eastern, so about 2 hours from now, because yeah, I want to get through the end of Elpis. There's a cutscene coming up which is phenomenal. It's an amazing cutscene, very well put together. Yes, Meteon. Her sisters were tasked with going out to the universe and asking what others found, what gave their lives meaning, what made them happy, and instead they went to worlds, and all they found were worlds who did not wish to continue to live, and instead deemed that happiness was a lack of existence. And so she is giving her gift of destruction. By destroying the planet, she will save it. So she believes. Man does not deserve to live. And so they won't get to.